Tucker Carlson is far more dangerous for the Republican Party and for the future of America and its ability to stand against Sharia law and radical Islam, okay, by the Islamists. This is obvious, clear, when we're looking at what's happening within MAGA, okay? So we can be optimistic that the mainstream, we are seeing the polls with the leadership, with Trump.
Carlson's numbers are down 54%.
Yeah. When we look at the younger generation, who is more exposed to social networks and is more exposed to influence operation led by states who are foreign states. For instance, Qatar, okay, because there's a lot of money in this industry to have these numbers of followers and click bites and content. It costs a lot of money, and this money comes from states and from individuals who wants to destroy America. Who wants to destroy America and wants to destroy MAGA and wants to destroy the Republican Party and to make America weaker. That's how I see it. Now, this is an internal issue of America. So we are looking at it from the outside. Obviously, we are also being impacted because with the obsession of Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson speaks about Jews and about Israel 24/7. This man is completely obsessed. I think he's insane, okay? But is a lunatic with millions of followers.
17 million just on X.
So this is not something.
5.5 million just on YouTube.
This is a real issue. And when he's bringing a man like this amateur neo-Nazi, Daryl Cooper, who thought that Hitler was born in Germany, and which is false, and claiming that the Holocaust in Eastern Europe, 3 million Jews who were massacred in Ukraine and the former Soviet Union, they were political prisoners that the Wehrmacht didn't know what to do with them. They didn't want them to starve, so they just killed them. That's his theory. That is a sick Holocaust denial. And so he brings the stage for this amateur neo-Nazi, Daryl Cooper, and then he says that he's one of the most honest historians in America. You're saying what? What happened to Tucker Carlson from Fox News? Was quite a nice...
Who was strong for Israel, against their...
I used to watch him on Fox News.
Annihilate the Iranian regime.
I used to watch him on Fox News. What happened to Tucker Carlson? And unfortunately, there are others who follow Tucker Carlson. And I think that we need to follow the money. And I think it's as I said, it's an internal problem in America. It affects us, but it's far more dangerous. Okay, Tucker Carlson is far more dangerous for the Republican Party and for the future of America and its ability to stand against Sharia law and radical Islam, okay? Because he's obviously being pushed by the Islamists. This is obvious, clear, okay? His appearance in the Doha conference, etc. And why not Sharia law? You can put the Lamborghini keys in the car, because if they're being caught, their hands will be cut. Well, that's exactly the vision of America, isn't it? So that's really what's been going on.
And Tucker specifically, as much as he hates Israel and the Jews, he's specifically targeting evangelical Christians and conservative Catholics, trying to break this alliance. So let's pivot in our final moments to this alliance, this important alliance. Look, a couple things. First, I want to hear from you. What are you urging Christian leaders and Christian lay people, grassroots people, to do to stand with Israel, to stand with the Jewish people, and to combat anti-Semitism? But the other element is, I want to just get your comment on, over the last year or two, maybe 2 years, I've been asking various Israeli leaders in the opposition and in the government, would you support the first ever appointment of an Israeli ambassador to the Christian world? Not me, just to be clear, but Prime Minister Netanyahu said this around, I think it was before COVID, so a lot's happened.
That's actually a fascinating idea.
I think we need this more than ever, because literally nobody has it as their central portfolio. I think it needs to be an Israeli, a Hebrew speaker, someone who's served in the military, and who knows the Christian world well.
That's an amazing idea. And I said a few things. We are on the Holocaust Remembrance Day here in Israel. The one fact that is very important regarding Hitler and the Nazi ideology, this is a godless ideology. German was the most, advanced culture. You have the best universities in Europe. top professors. Theater, music.
Right.
Yeah.
Literature.
You could not say that Germany was behind in terms of culture.
Right.
It was the
pinnacle.
tip of the sword of Western civilization.
Yeah.
And it went to the most deepest, dark philosophy of Nazism, which is a godless philosophy, impacted by the Nietzschean idea of let's just release the animal from within and let us live, let us release the yellow beast, as he called it, okay? And let's just fulfill our desires with no boundaries, without the weak Christian morality boundaries, the Jewish and Christian morality boundaries. So when we're speaking on Holocaust Remembrance Day regarding religion, Jews and Christian, and we're saying Judeo-Christian values, first, we believe in God. And that's not enough, because we can see Islamo-Nazism.
Right. They believe in God.
But they are using God as a tool for political goals.
Right.
So it's the political before God. That is
violent goals.
That is Islamo-Nazism. That is Islamo-Nazism. When they're saying they are taking the racist ideology of the Nazis, the ambitious to gain more power in the name of God. But this is actually also a godless philosophy, because if your God is commanding to massacre and rape innocent women, to massacre children in front of their parents, then we're not speaking about religion. The Hamas people, they don't believe in God. They don't believe in God, because our civilization is based on the sacred of human life. And you know what? The pilot, people are saying, wow, America lost planes, and so many people were in grave danger to release one pilot. This is exactly Judeo-Christian values. One man soul. We're gonna do everything for the life of one man. This is the sacred of life.
And when he was identifying himself to his commanders, when he was safe and secret, his first words were, God is good. And the commanders back, they were like, do you mean God is great? Are you talking, is this a Muslim thing? But no, this was a Christian man saying the first thing he wanted to say was not that I'm safe, but that God is good.
Yeah, and we just, after Passover, the second idea that is uniting us, Jews and Christians, is the idea of freedom. So we are fighting against Iran. It's not a coincidence. It's the worst tyranny regime on the face of earth. It is a regime that is admiring death. Death to America, death to Israel, death for Allah. We don't say death. We want to live, but we're also willing to sacrifice for the sake of life and for the sake of freedom.
What's the politics of all this here in Israel? We are in an election year. None of us really want to think in partisan political terms, but we're heading towards elections, probably in October. Does this war and all that's happened since October 7th, does it accrue, do you think, in the public mind as, look, October 7th was horrible and the Prime Minister Netanyahu was in the seat and has a degree of responsibility. However, look at all that he's accomplished since. Does it become a net benefit politically to him, all that he's getting done in defeating our worst enemies? Or is it like, look, it's been messy, it's been hard, he did his, like even Churchill, right? Winston Churchill, he wins World War II and he's removed from office. The people want a fresh leadership. Obviously, you're a close friend of the Prime Minister's and you are a defender of his, and you switched out of Naftali Bennett's party several years ago. So okay, so those are the cards on the table. You have your own perspective, but I want to know your perspective. How do you read the political assessment of where does this thing go over these next few months?
So I think that naturally people saw what happened since October 7th. For decades, we were trying, to buy quiet, and there were some decisions that were made. First and foremost, in the Oslo agreements, when we have withdrawal from Gaza, and thought, on the left, they thought that we can rely on Arafat and the Palestinian Authority, that they will not be this fanatic terror entity, and they will become,
technocrats. They'll just run their government
and they will advance
leave
peace, and they will leave us alone. Everything will be so nice, and we will an entire new Middle East, as Shimon Peres, Zichro Livracha, said it. Okay, so.
But Netanyahu was trying to buy peace too, right?
But
literally in that case.
But he was, and the entire conservative parties in Israel said, Oslo is going to be a catastrophe, giving lands for the Palestinians and withdrawing. Even the withdrawal from Lebanon, led by Ehud Barak in 2000, when he said, okay, it's going to be better.
You don't even have to give us a treaty. We'll just leave.
Okay, so but few months after the withdrawal from Lebanon, you had the catastrophic second intifada, because it was a sign of weakness that we don't want to go into wars, that we don't want to.
We're tired.
We are tired. We are tired. We are going back. So this is from Oslo to the evacuation of Lebanon and the withdrawal and the destruction of all the villages that we've had in Gaza Strip in 2005. Okay, so this decision created a new reality in which Hezbollah and Hamas can grow and become stronger and stronger, and it became very, very difficult to prevent them from being more and more powerful. Unlike, by the way, what happened in Judea and Samaria, when you still have heavy presence of Jewish villages and army, and so you can work against any attempt of these terrorists to move ahead. You couldn't do it in Lebanon. You couldn't do it in Gaza. And this problem became more and more dramatic. And every time when we went into Gaza, you had the entire world on their feet, and making it very, very difficult to operate within Gaza to defeat Hamas. And Hamas obviously took advantage. UNRWA was becoming an entire organization that is so connected with Hamas. Hamas headquarters beneath hospitals, beneath schools. We know it. So this problem became more and more grave. And we have tried to manage. Maybe we can have some economy benefits. We can bring people to work in Israel. We can do
they ended up spying on us.
Deals. We made
so the old rules, the old assessments. Those are out.
This is
what's the political effect?
So this is over.
Is there going to be a wave of pro-Netanyahu? You won. You opened the door, unfortunately, to October 7th. That was horrible. But in the end, you delivered for us. Or are we gonna see?
No, I think
thank
Netanyahu.
You, but we're moving on.
No. I think Netanyahu showed tremendous leadership during this very, very difficult war. He went against the army leaders at the beginning of the war. He went again, all the leaders, including, you mentioned Bennett and Eisenkot, who said a deal at all cost, and let's just stop the war, and let's accept the terms of Biden, who sanctioned the state of Israel and prevented the
I know Gantz wanted that, and I don't know about Bennett. I can't say that.
They said deal at all cost. Let's stop the war. They didn't push forward to going to Rafah to complete the mission to annihilate Hamas. They didn't. Okay, they were going, with what the Americans are saying. Okay, by the way, Bennett is in charge of the deal with Hezbollah, giving up territory on the sea for Lebanon. So they were very, very weak, very weak. And it's also, I think, when we're speaking to an American audience, the difference between Biden, who said don't, the famous don't, he said it for Hezbollah,
Iran and
Hezbollah, but when it comes to actions, the don't was against the state of Israel.
Don't keep fighting, don't finish the job. And we might not give you enough weapons to finish the job.
Okay, the heavy tractors that are used to be ahead of the forces to destroy homes and buildings that can be trapped by munitions. It was in the ports. They cannot be delivered. Bombs for the airplanes cannot be delivered. So we had an embargo led by the Biden administration. And this is all changed after President Trump came into power. And we are so thankful for the bravery of President Trump and his team, Vance, Rubio, Hagset.
It's quite a team.
This is a tremendous, really
an A-list
partners that I know. Huckabee. I hope we're gonna have this kind of leaders in the future in the U.S. I hope. I really hope.
Minister Amichai Shikli, thank you. Thank you for coming on the Rosenberg Report. Thank you for analysis, and thank you for all you're doing. We're going to keep working with you to fight anti-Semitism and defend Israel and the Jewish people and bring Christians in. Thank you so much.
Amen.
Thank you guys for watching. We covered a lot of ground today, and at a critical moment in U.S.-Israeli history, U.S.-Israeli alliance, and in a moment of the Holocaust Memorial Day here in Israel, when we are working together to stop Iran from being able to have the nuclear weapons and the missile to deliver them to bring about a second Holocaust. And that is our show for today. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great week as Christians, TBN, the largest Christian audience in the United States. Thank you. Walk with the Lord, stay in the Word, stay in prayer, stay in fellowship with other believers. Have a great week. And Lord willing, I'll see you next week right here on the Rosenberg Report.